Hi everyone, this is Jian living in Paris. Today I have a really exciting news to share with you. I got accepted into Siangspor graduate school. It's been a long journey of preparation and self-reflection, and I found there isn't much about up-to-date information about the application process of the Siangspor. So today I want to share a little bit of how I prepared for this process and why I wanted to pursue a master's degree, timeline, and some key aspects that I think really helped me to get in. So if you are interested in studying in France or Europe, please stay tuned for this video. So let me start by telling you a little bit of the Siangspor for those who are not really familiar for French schools. So the official name for Siangspor is Paris Institute of Political Sciences. As you can see from this name, it's well known and focused on the international relations, public affairs, and social science, etc. And a lot of influential figures in France have graduated from this school, including the current French President Emmanuel Macron. And sharing a little bit of my personal background, I have lived, studied, and worked in 4 different countries: South Korea, China, the United States, and France. And also my career has spanned across 3 different fields: policy research, consulting, and startups. So just bridging both private and public sectors together. In South Korea, I mainly help Korean companies to achieve sustainable transitions by helping them comply with the international regulation and guideline, mostly led by European Unions, or most of the time it was France. Even though I was very happy with my career and everything was very good, but there is always deep in my mind, I was very curious about how cities are going to deal with the long-term challenges and events like climate change, aging population, and the slow economic growth. And as I spent most of my life in different countries, I noticed very interesting patterns that these different countries have similar patterns of issues as they reach certain level of the economic growth. So this got me thinking, how can we anticipate the city's development and challenges and create sustainable solutions? And this curiosity really sparked my passion for art. I think I touched a little bit of why I decided to pursue a graduate school. And personally, I ended up moving to Paris last October. So I think it would be a really good opportunity and timing to just focus on my long-term goals and aspirations, while I'm also trying to improve my French language and get to know more about the French society and policies. I started seriously thinking about applying to grad school about a year ago, so it was in early 2024. And the actual preparation took about 3 months. The application period for Siangspor is usually from the late October to the late February of the next year. But I submitted my application in early December, to align with the scholarship timeline. Then I got first email from the school on 23rd January informing me that I passed the admissibility decision, which means that they have reviewed my grade, my school, my motivation. So it's like I passed the first hurdle of the application. And then another month passed. It was like 2 weeks ago. I got this email from the school on 11th February, telling me that I got accepted into this program. And it was only like last week on 20th February. It is exactly the date written on their website, I got the official offer letter from the school. Fortunately, Siangspor doesn't require GRE or GMAT, so I focus most of my time to prepare the motivation letter and gathering the recommendations from my previous colleagues or supervisors. Most of the graduate schools, including France, request students to submit 2 academic reference letters, but Siangspor allows students to submit 2 professional references, which could be letters from your supervisors who understand your strengths and ability. I spend really a lot of time to just communicate with them and make sure that them understand my strengths and my skills, my aspiration that also could be a merit to this program. I realize structure of the motivation letter is quite fixed. You can find some good examples online. I will be just telling you the 3 main areas that I really focus to elaborate on my motivation letter. These are why me, why France, and why Siangspor. To be honest, I didn't pay much attention to why France as much as I did for the why Siangspor, but after having it reviewed by the alumni friends from Siangspor, I realized it's important, and especially for those international students like me, it's to explain why I choose France over other countries in Europe or the United States is important. And I think you can just align your professional or academic experiences with why France will be very persuasive reasoning for applying to Siangspor. Here is an interesting point that I found on French or Siangspor publication compared to the Korean one. In France or generally in Europe, students tend to go to master's degree right after their bachelor's course. So, for example, when I did an internship in OECD in Paris, when I was like 7 years ago, for the colleagues who are doing the internship with me together, they in our early 20s, it's like 24, 23, 20, even though we are at the same or like similar age, so they are doing this internship along with their master's course. So I was the only bachelor's, so you need to clearly demonstrate why you wanted to come back to school after having these multiple years of the experiences point of view. It's very important that your essay, your motivation letter should be persuasive enough. So there are cases like me, I would highly recommend you clarify this as part of your why me section. So if you got this offer letter from the school, we will have like around 1 month period to accept or defer the decision. So I am still waiting for some scholarship results. And if you're waiting for scholarship and then you wanted to decide after securing some finance opportunities, you don't need to just accept the decision right after you receive the email. Okay, so here are some topics that I really want to explore in my next couple of years throughout my studies. And I'll definitely share more about them in future videos. So if any of these sound interesting to you, feel free to share your opinion, leave a comment, or you can share some insights or like interesting articles. Yeah, so the first is like how old cities adapt to climate change, economic stagnation, and aging populations, and what would be the future of cities in Asia, including Korea, Japan, Taiwan, and in China. For example, in Korea, the history of the apartments or the residence built out of the concrete is only about 60 years. So there's a strong trend of tearing down old buildings and rebuilding them only after like 20 years or like 30 years. So if the apartment is already like 20 years, Korean people would think this apartment is so old, we need to rebuild it. But this is something that really surprised me when I came to France, because like some buildings built in like 1970s in Paris considered as new buildings in this city, and most of the buildings, residential buildings, are built like back in 1980s. Maybe it's due to the culture, but also I'm very curious how these old buildings and like cities manage these events and risks in the future. Asian cities can learn from this, or vice versa. And the second topic is that how urban shrinkage and vacant housing are emerging and what solutions are being implemented. Take Seoul, for example. Over 20% of the population lives in the capital city, and many young people from non-Seoul areas move there for education and jobs, which is creating some big issues like house prices are rising in Seoul, while non-Seoul areas are left with the aging population and the industry that are not competitive enough anymore. To be honest, there are not many areas that we can call rural areas in Korea. Even though these non-Seoul cities are big enough, some of the cities have more than 1 million. Still, young people don't want to live there because they think Seoul has more opportunities in every way. So this led to problems like urban hollowing and abandoned houses. Plus, more migrant workers are moving to these areas, which is changing the social and the economic structures of that region. So I think it's really interesting because Korea is now suffering from all these issues like aging population, slow economic growth, and the changing dynamic of the demographic in certain regions. So I think it would be really interesting to study how these cities will change in the future. The point is that the role of the corporations and the governments. So I believe urban challenges require cooperation among the governments and the businesses, and there are certain areas that governments are really good at it. And in contrast, there are some fields that business can do better than government. So I'm really interested in the public and private partnership around the urban development and solutions. I'm super excited to deep dive into these topics, and please stay tuned for more videos in the future. Thanks for watching.